to Prince Edward Island. We hope you do. In Kensington, you're going to find this beautiful, beautiful bed and breakfast run by Glenn and Lorna Wells. And they offer a 15% discount for military families as well on November 10th and 11th. If you're military and you're going to Prince Edward Island, they will compliment you your room with advanced reservation. So it's pretty cool. It's a wonderful opportunity. We're excited today because the Virtual Open Forum on Scholarships, we're in partnership with so many great agencies. So we have Support Our Troops here, Jennifer. Natasha's Wood Foundation is represented, Wounded Warriors, thank you, Phil. We have the Canada Company and Project Hero with Donna Mills. And then we're going to share also Royal Canadian Legion links and Royal Canadian Navy Benevolent Fund and True Patriot Love and Unlock Your Future and MFRC. There's so much out there to help military families to get quality education. We've already saved CAF veterans and RCMP families thousands of dollars in the 6 years since we've been doing this workshop. So I'm going to, Amanda, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I'm going to ask you to mute your microphone for me because I hear a little bit of background noise, but I'm thrilled that you joined in. So I'm going to give you a little tour of the classroom before we get started. On the right-hand side, you've all found your mute button. It's also there where you unmute. So the mute button is a toggle. If you click on it once, it works, and you click on it twice, it stops working. So we want to make sure that you're able to speak whenever you want to talk. So mute and unmute. We ask people to usually leave their microphone muted with a big class like this. Sometimes when I'm teaching a smaller class, I actually ask people to unmute because then I can hear the breathing and the laughter and I know participants are out there. You give me a green check if you've ever been to a virtual classroom before. I know some of you have from Saturday's class. A red X if you have not, and you'll find that at the bottom here. It looks like a hand and a red X. Okay, Lynn, fantastic. And Julie, I know you've been here before. Captain Terry Hunter, I know you've been. Great. Okay, so Lynn, at the bottom, at the right-hand side of your screen is where you're going to see, well, you found the red X, so woot, there's celebration right there. You can also raise your hand by clicking on the hand icon. So try that, everybody. Raise your hand. Fantastic. That way, if you have a question, you can ask there. We are going to be asking you to hold your questions, though, until Donna Mills is finished speaking, to give everybody a chance to give their 5-minute presentation. The other point that I want to share with you, this is new for everybody that was here on Saturday, is the Q&A. So on the top of your participant panel, you're going to see a question mark. If you click on that question mark, you're able to fill in a question and send a question, and then you will have a question mark beside your name in the participant panel, and I will be able to address those questions so you don't forget them during question period. So the question is up top. It's a little question mark, and hopefully you can use that to save your questions. We also encourage you to use the chat. In a live classroom, we don't use the chat as often because it's distracting, but in a virtual classroom, chat away. Write your thoughts. Joe, you were saying not seen. What's not seen? Did you want to unmute and tell me what's not seen?
Sorry, just me trying to find the question mark for on the screen.
Oh, okay. So your question mark, I just want to make sure, your question mark is in the top, is in the top right-hand side of your screen. So you'll see the participant panel that looks like this. This is a picture. And there should be a little question mark there. Let me just make sure everybody has privileges, and they do. You see a little
oh, mine's the bottom
PowerPoint?
Right. Yeah, got it.
Oh, you must be on a Mac, are you, Joe?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so on a Mac, it would be on the bottom. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, it's a little question mark, and that's how you can keep your questions coming. Also, in the chat, you've all found the chat, and please write in the chat where you're calling from today, just so I know you know that the chat is there. And then we'll get started. I'm going to take my camera off because you don't need to see me. Great. We have Kingston, Ottawa, Sea Springs, Wonderful. Comox, Toronto, Winnipeg. We're well represented today. On Saturday, we were all the way from Hawaii to Italy. So I love the virtual classroom because anything is possible. Okay, so we are going to start the session. First off, the session will be recorded. Amanda, do you have a question? If you want to lower your hand, you just click on the hand icon. Great. And Phil, do you have a question? And Joe, if you just want to lower your hands. Okay, great. So this session will be recorded today because there's so much phenomenal information. We want to share it with as many people as we can. We will also have the opportunity to share a few of the websites so that you can have a look. And there's going to be an after-session email with all of this information, so you don't have to be scrambling to take notes. We're going to start with each presenter having a 5-minute sharing of their information. We're going to start today with Wounded Warriors with Phil Ralph, and then we're going to go to Jennifer Ruckles, Support Our Troops. Natasha's Wood Foundation, I'm going to speak to that on the 2 slides, and Canada Company and Project Hero Scholarships with Donna Mills. Once everybody's had a chance to share their information, we encourage you to use the cute question and answer found at the top of the big question mark, and that's how you can ask questions to save them. If you're in a Mac, it's at the bottom of your screen. It's the question mark. It's called the Q&A panel. So save those questions because there'll be a time when we have questions for the panelists, and you'll be able to use the chat, you'll be able to use the Q&A, and you'll be able to raise your hand. So we look forward to that. And then once that Q&A portion is done, we're going to have other websites with scholarship information, and then questions and evaluations. So give me a green check when you're ready to get going to start our session. Fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to skip over this and go right to our friend Phil from Wounded Warriors because he does need to leave a little early. Over to you, Phil.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think the Wounded Warriors Canada Veterans Child Scholarship is pretty self-explanatory. If you go to the website link at the bottom of the page, on that slide, all the information needed for applying and all the information on eligibility are on that single page. So it's a scholarship that's meant for children whose parent or parents is a Canadian Forces Armed Forces veteran. It doesn't matter whether you're serving, retired, regular, or reserve, but that you've been affected in some way by an operational stress injury, and then your child is eligible. It is a 1-year scholarship. It's targeted towards, if it's a university, the bachelor level, the undergraduate level, college level as well. It is for 1 year. Preference will be given when we weight them to first-year students to encourage them to attend a post-secondary education. However, based on the number of applications we get, we will also be weighting those that are in years beyond year 1. The deadline for applications is July 31st. See, I didn't need 5 minutes.
So July 31st is the deadline, and that was extended, was it not?
Yes, it was. And that's mainly because it's a brand new scholarship, and just to make sure that the word got out there and that it gave everybody time to get their information together and to submit. The email address to submit to is also on that web page. If anyone after this has a direct question for me, I'm easy to get a hold of. My email address is phil@woundedwarriors.ca.
phil@woundedwarriors.ca, and this information will be in the after-session email as well. One thing that I have to ask you, Phil, is what if you were to celebrate one skill in your applicant, one thing, what would you really celebrate in that applicant? What are you looking for?
I mean, I'm looking for someone who, you know, it would genuinely you know, otherwise would not be, you know, obviously when we rate them and thinking about whether or not, you know, depending on the number of applicants we get, the thing we'll be looking for is the desire of the student to pursue and how important it is to. You know, I remember when I was getting ready to go to university, there were a whole bunch of people who went because their parents told them to. And then there were people who went because they genuinely desired to further their knowledge. So, you know, you'll see on the application the elements that are involved. There's a 250-word essay that basically for the student to say why this would be important, what a difference it would make in their life. So we're looking for students that feel this would make a real difference in their life.
Phenomenal. So you're looking for desire. Wow,
yes.
That's great. And we learned in the workshop that was on Saturday, we learned about really doing the essay to the theme. So it's wonderful now that these participants are aware that Wounded Warriors is looking for desire. Thank you so much, Phil, for presenting today.
You're welcome.
Wonderful. Okay, so the next person on our agenda to present, oh my goodness, Jennifer Ruggles has so many different scholarship opportunities with Support Our Troops. So Jennifer, I'm going to pass you the ball and you can change the slides. You have 4 slides.
All right, perfect.
You change the slides by moving the triangle at the very top. And if you'd like to share the, actually I'll keep the ball and just let me know when you want me to change the slides. And if you want me to share the website, I'm happy to do that as well.
Sure, we can do that. I was just concerned actually on the chat. It says Nancy Belanger, she can't hear the sound. Is that correct?
Ah, okay. Thank you very much. So this will be, that's right, because she hasn't signed in with her audio. So why don't you go ahead with your presentation and I'll work with her.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
All right, so I'll just start by introducing myself. I'm Jennifer Ruggles, and I work for Support Our Troops. And that's a division through CFMWS, which is Canadian Forces Morale and Welfare Services. So we have 23 scholarships available this year, and they consist of 103,000 to be dispersed over this academic school year, which is the 2016-2017 school year. But before we get too far into that, I'll just give you a little bit of a history of our program. So we are still infants in this program. So we just launched last year in 2015. We launched through Canadian Forces Morale and Welfare Services, and in our very first year we had over 400 applications. We are still looking to grow our program and offer more financial support. So we don't offer any scholarships to active CAF members, Canadian Armed Forces members, or veterans, but we really wanted to kind of fill that gap and create scholarships for dependents. So as I said, we have 103,000 to be dispersed this year, and it's funded by 8 separate entities. So one of them is Natasha Woods Foundation, also Bank of Montreal. We have some small businesses that are partnerships, and I know Margaret is going to speak on Natasha Woods Foundation's behalf. We also have some prominent Canadian families that also provide us with funding for our scholarships, and 2 provincial governments, which are Alberta and Manitoba, and that's funded through the Yellow Ribbon license plates. So we have a partnership with the Ministry of Transportation, and funding that comes from those license plates comes back to us, and then we're able to fund the scholarships there. So our registration, we only take online applications, and the registration opened as of April 25th and will close July 25th, 2016 at 23:59 Eastern Standard Time. So just make sure you remember that. I know we're all kind of on different time zones here. So in order to be eligible for our scholarships, remember all of this information is on our website. So you have to be a dependent. This includes spouses, so children, adopted children, foster children, spouses, as well as common law spouses. Of a currently serving Canadian Armed Forces member or veteran, must be a Canadian citizen or permanent resident of Canada, and also they must be enrolled in an undergraduate program leading to a degree, diploma, or certificate at an accredited Canadian college or university. So I'll get more into our scholarships on our next slide here, but first I'll just let you know a little bit more about our, okay, we can go to the website, I guess. Okay, so this is our Support Our Troops website. So if you see on the bottom, if we can just scroll down here, under Support Our Troops, if we click on that, it takes us to the page off of CFMWS. And in that second box towards the right, it says Apply. That's where our online application is. It's fairly straightforward. We do have some documentation that I'll get into a little bit later, but just to get you familiar with the form there, that's basically what it looks like. It's just going to ask you some general questions. If we want to go back to the slide, perfect. All right, so our adjudication process. You can just go back there, perfect. So the adjudication process. So we do require a 500-word essay. So we compile some panelists within our organization, and some of our sponsors that fund the scholarships are a part of our panel, and we organize this meeting. They evaluate all of the essays that come in and the applications, and they go through and they score them essentially. So the essay is worth 30%. So they really focus on clarity of thought and communication of arguments. So that's worth 25 points. Persuasiveness is worth 25 points. And creativity and originality is also worth 25 points. Also, if you just add in there the financial need, very important. We also want a letter of reference. So whether you're already in university and you have a professor that gives you a reference letter, or you're leaving high school and you'd like a letter of reference from a high school teacher, anybody in the community that can testify to why you deserve this scholarship. Also, we require to see your transcripts as proof of that you are finishing school or going to attend school. That's worth 100 points as well. And then we also look for your resume. So we want to see that civic engagements. So that's worth 25 points there. Extracurricular activities is 25 points. Volunteer hours, 25 points. And work experience, 25 points. So essentially we're looking to see if you're well-rounded, you're an asset to your community, and really why you deserve this scholarship. All right, so we can go to the next slide. Perfect. Oh, and one more thing I'll just add. The successful applicants will be notified by August 15th, 2016, if they have been approved for the scholarship. So our scholarships here, we wanted to keep them as open-ended as possible to make as many people eligible. So we do have a few that are restricted to certain areas by location. So that's where I was talking about the Ministry of Transportation partnership that we have. So of course they want the funding to stay within their province. So first I'll just start off. So we have 5 $10,000 scholarships that are awarded to full-time students anywhere in the country. We have 1 $6,500 scholarship for full-time students anywhere in the country. We have 3 $5,000 scholarships for full-time and part-time students for anywhere nationally within our country. And we also have 1 $500 scholarship for full-time and part-time. And then these are where the restrictions come into play. So we have 10 $1,000 scholarships for full-time students in Manitoba only. So these are specific to Manitoba province. You must be a resident of Manitoba. Whether you want to go to school, let's say in Ottawa, or Ontario, let's say, then that's fine, but we just need you to be a resident permanently in Manitoba. And the same thing goes with Alberta. And our next scholarship, so we have 2 $10,000 scholarships for full-time and part-time students in Alberta only. So on our map there, you can just see all of those arrows pointing to the correct provinces. All right, we can go to the next slide. Thank you. And my email is there if you'd like, and also the website that we were on is also there. And feel free, if you have any questions, you can always shoot me an email.
We're going to have this information. Thank you very much, Jennifer. We're going to have this information in the after-session email, and we'll open up the questions in a few moments.
Perfect.
My one question, though, before we do go on to the next speaker is, if you were to celebrate one skill in an applicant, what would it be?
We really want to see how the military life has affected you, and why that makes you deserving for a scholarship through CFMWS. And also, if I can just add to that, the financial need is also very important.
Okay. Now, one thing that we learned from our session yesterday is that not all scholarships require financial need. So it's lovely that you're able to tell us that military life, how it's affected you, is very important, as well as financial need.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Wonderful. So now we're going to go to the next presenter, which happens to be me, Margaret McKenzie. I am an ambassador for the Natasha's Wood Foundation. The Natasha's Wood Foundation was founded by Faye Madison, who is an artist, and she is an illustrator and an author, and she's also a survivor of PTSD herself. She has a passion for youth, and in particular, she's also a military spouse, but she has a passion for youth, in particular the youth who have struggled in families where there have been PTSD issues. But not only for Canadian Armed Forces, she's also passionate about youth from veterans, from reserves, and from all first responders. So this program is really unique in that it's for anybody who puts themselves on the line for their communities. So I'd like to share with you this book. It's called Twiglet's First Birthday. And 100% of the sales from this book, and it's completely illustrated by Canadian youth, go to youth programs for Canadian Armed Forces, veterans, reserves, and all first responder families. And Faye has a passion, as I said, for youth, in education, in the arts, and in sports. So I'm going to use my camera just to show you 1 or 2 pages that this was completely illustrated by Canadian youth, this book. And you can purchase it on her website, this book called Twiglet's First Birthday. You can purchase it on her website, and every single solitary penny from this book go towards these programs. We're going to share with you today the scholarship program that she's offering in the way of education. So from the Twiglet First Birthday books, they've created a scholarship which provides financial support to full-time students from families of Canadian Armed Forces who want to continue their post-secondary education at the college or university level. Natasha's Wood Foundation does concentrate on youth. I know, Jennifer, that some other, the Support Our Troops is not only for youth, it's also for military families as well. The Natasha's Wood Foundation Scholarship is designed to give back to the first responder and the Canadian Armed Forces families. The scholarship is valued at $10,000, and it's going to be dispersed equally over the course of the program up to a maximum of 4 years. It's also being dispersed through Support Our Troops. So this is one of the scholarships that Jennifer is managing, Support Our Troops is managing on behalf of the Natasha's Wood Foundation. So I'm just going to share with you the website so that you can check it out at a later date, and that way you'll have a better idea of how you can be part of the magic and how you can be drawing and be an artist in this wonderful opportunity. So here's Paul and Fairy named Squirt, and I'm going to click on that, and you'll see some of the illustrations that have already come in, over 100 different illustrations. And what it is you read from the excerpt of the story, and then you use your imagination to draw the pictures that you see in your head. And the deadline for the drawings is coming up this September, and there are 4 books in this series, so every September there'll be a new deadline. Natasha's Wood Foundation, be part of the magic, be part of the legacy for life. Now we're going to go over to you, Donna. Jennifer, was there anything that I missed on that Natasha's Wood Foundation?
Nope, that looks great.
Okay, thank you. Over to you, Donna.
Thank you very much, Margaret.
You're welcome. We're really excited to have you here, Donna, and take it away.
Thank you. Canada Company was founded 10 years ago in 2006, and one of our first initiatives was the Canada Company Scholarship Fund. It was launched in 2007 with our first award ceremony and check disbursement in 2008 to the first of 3 recipients. We were delighted to have support by contributors such as CIBC, Peter Monk of Barrett Gold, Jim Balsillie, who was a co-CEO of BlackBerry, RB&H Incorporated, Paul Desmarais of Power Corp, W. Garfield Weston Foundation, Bank of Montreal. I think it's the second time we've heard their generosity in this session tonight. Scotiabank, Standard Life Insurance, and AGF Management. The tie with AGF Management is our CEO and founder, Blake Goldring, is not only the founder of Canada Company, but the CEO and chairman of AGF. So this scholarship started with donations totaling $1.7 million, and the fund now, almost 10 years later, is over $2 million. It has been an awesome opportunity for us to be able to support children whose parent was killed while serving on an active mission. To date, we have awarded 84 scholarships, and there's 10, I think maybe even 11 that will be awarded this June 24th at our check ceremony in downtown Toronto. So certainly it's not a scholarship that anyone would wish to be eligible for, but it is something that we're very proud to be able to assist those children in their post-secondary education. Each student can receive up to $4,000 a year for a maximum of 4 years. So in terms of applying for this, certainly I don't think we're going to have many in this session this evening, but it's the kind of thing that we want you to share with your friends and family in the military so that people are aware that it exists, and visiting our website gives more information on how you can apply. It all starts with an email to our info@canadacompany.ca email address, and we work with, Jennifer's already mentioned it, the Canadian Forces Morale and Welfare Services, just to confirm eligibility. And we're always delighted to bring students from across Canada to Toronto for the check ceremony. It's very moving. We have almost 600 members across Canada who make it a point, if they're in the Toronto area, to come and attend. We have senior level military members who are there, the children and their companion in travel, whether it be their mother, father, husband, wife, friend, sister, whatever it happens to be. And you'll see on my slide there's a picture of last year's ceremony, which was in First Canadian Place, downtown Toronto. So that's the Canada Company Scholarship Fund, and it was, as I said, launched in 2007. If you go to the next slide, Margaret, I can talk about another scholarship that we're involved with. Though we don't award these scholarships specifically, this was started by retired now General Rick Hillier and one of the Canada Company board members, Honorary Colonel Kevin Reed. They reached out starting in September of 2009 to University of Ottawa, I believe was the first, and we now have 70 schools participating in Project Hero. And similarly, this is a scholarship that the universities and colleges across Canada will award to children who apply directly to them, where they waive tuition and in some cases even give support with room and board to children of CAF personnel who have lost their lives while serving in an active mission. So that link that we have there, the second bullet point, takes us to our Project Hero website, and you can see the list of schools that go from Algoma University down to, test my memory, Vancouver Island maybe. So it's all the way across Canada, 70 schools that offer their support, and they're pleased, just completely delighted to do so.
So I'm showing the website now, Donna.
Yeah.
Is there any place you'd like me to go?
If you go under the Initiatives tab at the top leftish, right there, yep. There's second item there is Project Hero. And if you scroll down, Margaret, you'll see the list of 70 schools. And in most cases, those bulleted lists of participating institutions, when you click on them, it would take you to their website that describes their application process. And we're always happy to help. If there's any questions that people have, we're happy to help connect them with the Project Hero school.
Look at that list.
Yeah, and you know, it's building all the time. I had someone call me from York University recently, and the two scholarships work very well together. Our Canada Company scholarship, $4,000 for 4 years, is not about tuition. It's about whatever will help defray the cost of post-secondary. So each time that we have an opportunity to award a scholarship to a student, we make sure that we reach out to the school they intend to go to, and that helps us build our list so that they're not using our $4,000 on tuition.
Wow, that is phenomenal. Thank you very much. So please be sure to share this with any of your people that you know. I mean, the more people that know about it, obviously, the more information we'll have. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, so what would be one skill that you would really value in your applicants?
Well, we will award these scholarships to whomever is eligible based on the fact that they will have lost a parent who was serving, and there isn't the need to show essays or financial hardship, anything like that. They just need to apply. We work with CFMWS, and then we're delighted to be able to assist them with their post-secondary financial needs.
Wow, thank you very much. Okay, so thank you so much for sharing. Phenomenal. So now we're going to start with the question period. We're going to start with those who have their question marks for Q&A, and then we'll go to hands raised questions. So Joe, if you want to unmute, Joe. Great. Did you want to ask your question?
Oh, I think I forget now what I typed in, if it was...
So is there a limitation, a restriction on how the scholarship funds must be spent? Yeah. Has to be on tuition. I think that all depends on the scholarship. Jennifer, do you have thoughts on that? Is there a limitation? So if a participant gets the money, does it have to go to school?
Yes, so it would have to go to school.
Does the check go to the person or directly to the school?
No, it would go to the person.
Ah, okay. Does that answer your question, Joe?
Sure, it sounds like there's a little more flexibility with if the check goes to the person based on what we learned just the other day, that although they would probably use it for tuition.
Right. Yeah, so sorry if I can interject.
Absolutely.
So, for example, one of our $10,000 scholarships, if your school let's say for one semester, costs $3,000. So at the end of 1 year, you have $6,000 that you've paid towards your school, and you have $4,000 left over. So in that case, if you're living away from home or anything like that, then of course it can go towards that. But it's not something that would go towards anything else that's not school related, of course. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Thanks.
Perfect.
Okay, Margaret Hash. The deadline is for the current year. Is that your question?
Yes, I was just wondering if a lot of times scholarships, you have to start the year before, and I just wanted to make sure the scholarship would be for the school year starting September 2016.
That's a great question. So, Jennifer, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so our deadline closes as of April 15th, or sorry, not April, our students will be notified August 15th whether or not they will be getting the scholarship, and the payment is issued out before the tuition fee is due.
Okay, one other question for Margaret is, can students receive more scholarships than 1 year?
Can they apply more than once? It was more for the Natasha Wood and the Wounded Warriors, because we fortunately don't qualify for the Canada Company project one. So I want to know, can they apply more than once, or is it a one-time only?
Well, that's a very good question. So I know for Natasha's Wood, it's only for first years, so that would be only once. I'm not sure, but that would be a great question to ask Phil in the after-session email. You'll have his email. You can send him a note.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
Wonderful. Great. Excellent question. So any more questions coming up? Captain Terry Hunter. Go ahead with your question. You're muted.
Yeah, okay. Well, a question I have is, I noted in the criteria for the Wounded Warriors, one of the areas says that if, say, a service member is diagnosed with PTSD. I'm just wondering what proof will Wounded Warriors be asking for, because asking a service member if they have PTSD, that's a very personal issue for them.
Okay, and that's another very good question, Terry. If you could save that for the after-session email and direct it to Phil in Wounded Warriors.
Okay.
He will be able to answer that question for you.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful, thank you very much. And Joe, did you have another question?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay, good. I just want to make sure we've got them all. Are there any other questions on any of the information that you heard today? Now, one of the questions that I had was, Jennifer, are the scholarships only for first-year students, or are they for any military family? Who's eligible?
Yeah, so they aren't only for first-year students. You can apply all the way up into your master's program, let's say, but the same amount will be given.
So regardless of what level of school?
Yes, exactly. So it's essentially prorated.
Okay. And are there any more questions for our support our troops or for Canada Company? Okay, well, while you're thinking of, Jennifer, go ahead.
I saw there was a question there about what is the Yellow Ribbon License Plate Program, yes. And I saw Julie Anderson. Thank you for putting the link up there. But if I can just touch base on that a little bit more. So through the province of Manitoba and Alberta, they offer the Yellow Ribbon license plates. I'm sure you've seen them around. I know we have them here in Ontario as well. But it essentially has that yellow ribbon on there that says support our troops. and a portion of that sale for anybody who buys a yellow ribbon Support Our Troops license plate, a portion of that sale comes back into our organization for Support Our Troops, and then we collect that funding to issue scholarships. Does that answer that question?
Yes, I'd like to get one.
Perfect.
Thank you. Marion, do you have a question?
Yeah, for Jennifer, for the financial need, how much of the application is that worth, I guess? You know, we've been saving for our kids' education with our ESPs, and so they know that there's a pot of money there, but obviously they're not going to make it all the way through with that, but...
Yeah, not to worry, great question. So it's worth 25%, 25 points out of the essay, and the essay is worth 30%. So even if you touch on that, it's not, we're not looking for, let's say, struggling parents necessarily. If they already have an educational fund, that's great. But we are looking to see why this scholarship would help the student or the individual, and why it would really benefit their future. So if you can touch on that as your financial need, then that's perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Okay. So I want you to keep the questions coming, and just while we're speaking, while you're thinking of your questions, I wanted to share you some other places where you can find scholarships. So I'm going to share the website, the Royal Canadian Legion. Check with your local chapter, because every local chapter will have different funding opportunities available, and many of them have scholarships and bursaries. I'm going to share my desktop so I can show you the Royal Canadian Legion website. Whoops. So if you go to the Royal Canadian Legion, and these sites are going to be in the after session email. If you click on youth, there are bursaries and scholarships depending on your location, and they're from the Poppy Trust Fund bursaries. So check with your local Royal Canadian Legion. That's a great resource for you. Another resource is the Royal Canadian Naval Benevolent Fund, and they have some opportunities for scholarships as well as bursary applications as well, and their target market to share the funds is for anybody who has been connected with the Navy. So those are just a few more opportunities that are available. Another opportunity that's phenomenal is the TEMA Foundation. Have you heard, give me a green check if you've ever heard of the TEMA Foundation or Vince Savoya. Red X if you have not. Green checks, red X's. Okay, so Vince Savoya is an incredibly dynamic speaker. He came to the virtual classroom and actually did a virtual workshop which is recorded, which you could get access to. He is a first responder who found a murder victim who looked just like his wife, and his journey started from there. He is now the executive director of the TEMA. The woman's name was TEMA, the TEMA Foundation, and Heroes Are Human. And they have offered thousands of dollars in scholarships to CAF and first responder families, and I will share with you their website as well. And I encourage you to listen to the recording because I encourage you to listen to the recording because it's got a wealth of information. I'm just going to share it up here. Okay, there we go. So this is their website, tema.ca, Heroes Are Human. And if you click on the Heroes Are Human, you are going to see what we do, and under scholarship programs, if you go to what we do under scholarship programs, and he is traveling, Vince Savoy right now is traveling the country teaching mental health first aid. And he's coming to Winnipeg in June, and he's on his way west, so you really want to check him out. Since 2000, they've awarded 99 scholarships totaling $244,000. And you can read about the scholarship recipients as well. So heroes are human. Vince Savoy has done some amazing work in bringing communities together. This information will be in the after-session email as well. I spoke with True Patriot Love today. Although they do not have scholarships, True Patriot Love have been known many times to connect organizations that want to give scholarship money with local MFRCs. And they're another organization that really believes in Canadian Armed Forces, really believes in all of the work that is done by families, because it takes a village really to be in a military community. Scholarships Canada is another one that's going to be in the after-session email. There are more than 80,000 scholarships. And you know what's interesting about that is that they're not only for first-year students. They're for anybody from 96 to 106 years old. If you're interested in post-secondary education, you are eligible. And there are more than 80,000 awards totaling $177,000. So with Scholarships Canada, what you do is you set up a profile, and then the scholarships that you can apply for come to you. How easy is that? Whether you're your first year university, whether you're going for your PhD or a certificate program, Scholarships Canada is a site that you really want to know about. One other site is Unlock Your Future. So this is actually a scholarships coach. She will work with families and with individuals to coach people how to find scholarships, not only through Scholarships Canada, but through various sites. And she'll tell you that you don't have to have saved a small country to get a scholarship. She graduated from Simon Fraser University with more than 56,000 in scholarships, and between her and her brother, they earned more than 120,000 in scholarships. So she is a coach, and we've worked with her before, and she has a program called Keys to Scholarship, and I will share that that website as well for you, just so you can see. It just takes a moment. And Unlock Your Future, and she has courses, complimentary writing workshops on how to write the winning scholarship essay, she actually has a booklet as well that you can purchase. But the writing workshops are complimentary, so I encourage you to check that out as well. So where else can you find scholarships? You can find them in high schools, universities, your place of employment, your parents' place of employment. Look at all the opportunities that are out there. It takes a village. Just ask. Stake your claim. Do you have any questions about any of the Support Our Troops or for Donna Mills or myself about Natasha's Wood, Canada Company? Any more questions or comments or thoughts? All right, we're going to continue. And you're going to be getting this information in the after-session email as well. So your mission, should you choose to accept it. No pressure. Set up a profile on scholarshipscanada.com. Find a scholarship, any scholarship that you can apply for, even if it's not on scholarships.com Canada, and submit at least one application in the next 3 weeks. You can do it. It's there for the taking. Did you know that there's more than $5 million every year that never gets claimed simply because nobody has applied? And please report back to me, Margaret McKenzie, at the virtual MFRC email address, any of your successes, because MFRC-PEI is really excited to be sharing this with you. So this is the time of the session now. If you have no more questions, then I'm going to ask you to fill in an evaluation for me. This is how we continually improve our programs. So in the chat, you will find an evaluation. And then you are welcome to come back to ask any questions to Donna, Jennifer, or myself. And if you can just fill in that application by clicking on the Survey Monkey and then filling it out, and we'll be waiting for you here. Donna and Jennifer, thank you so much for all that you do. My goodness, this is phenomenal, these resources.
It's a pleasure, Margaret. Thank you for doing this session.
You're welcome. And I'm very happy also to do any more outreach sessions. You know, we could record sessions about your programs for sure. One other thing that I wanted to share as well, while people, please give me a green check when you finish. Thank you, Danny. Please give me a green check when you finished the evaluation. And then I will share many of these sessions that we spoke about are recorded. So the Mince the Voice session is recorded, and I'll show you where we can find those recordings. If we go to my desktop. And if you're interested also in more of these workshops, feel free to go to Facebook and like the PEI Facebook page, because I'm going to take you on a tour of that right now. When you like the PEI Facebook page, it gives you the opportunity to find out the events. And we have many great events coming up in the virtual classroom. And the event calendar is here. And you'll see that we have a session for parents of military families coming up. We have a session also, let me see here, where am I? Wait a second. Where is it? I'm looking for my events page. If anybody can help me, that would be grand. Let's see. There it is. No. It should be easy to find the events page. Let me see. Okay, there we go. I will send you the events coming up and send you the link to get to the events page. But also we spoke a little bit about the recordings. Oops, it keeps coming down the tab. So I want to show you where you can see the recordings of scholarship workshops. So if you want more information on scholarships, you just check out the PEI MFRC website, and the virtual recordings are there. And if you scroll down, you have one on DFIT, Sleep, CF1 program, and there's actually one as well about scholarships, Finding the Hidden Dollar. So check out those websites as well. All right, so give me a green check when you're back, and do you have any more questions for us? Okay, so we hope that you're going to stake your claim and just apply for those scholarships. There's more than $5 million scholarships that go unclaimed each year. We are so thankful to Natasha's Wood Foundation, to Wounded Warriors, to Support Our Troops, to Canada Company, to True Patriot Love, Royal Canadian Benevolent Fund, Scholarships Canada, Heroes Are Human, Unlock Your Future, the Royal Canadian Legion, and the Mill Pond Bed and Breakfast in Prince Edward Island. So just remember that scholarships are for you. Please share the great information that Donna had for the families of fallen soldiers. Please share that with whomever. And thank you so much for coming out. If there's no more questions, just click on the red X and we will, and that will take you out of the session. Have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for coming. Nancy, I'm glad we got your audio working. You're welcome, Donna. Thank you so much for coming and for all that you do. Thank you, Joe. Great participation. Really appreciate your comments. Thank you, Amanda, for coming. Thank you, Edna, for persevering and coming in. Thank you, Lynn and Marion. You are so welcome, Danny. It's a pleasure.